favorite bread to use because it actually has some kind of flavor to it, I guess. It has this sweetness to it that I feel like makes it taste even better to me than just normal bread. And I also feel like you can eat it on its own and it'll taste good too. But today I'm gonna put some peanut butter on it. So I've still been using this journal for the last about 2 weeks. I've been using it pretty consistently, and I do still like it because I like having a prompt and a question to answer when I'm journaling. It helps me focus on a specific thing, and it makes it a little bit easier to jot things down because I have something specifically that I'm answering. But at the same time, depending on the prompt, some days, especially the recent past few days, I found that I haven't actually written down that much just because the questions that I've had just haven't required me to write a ton in order to answer them. So I feel like I do want to get back into just doing some normal journaling as well, maybe at the end of the day, just so that I can get more of my thoughts down and kind of get them out of my head, get them down in writing so that they're just not just stuck inside of my head, but that I'm able to get them out in some way, shape, or form. And I do have a regular journal that I have. It's just some blank pages, and I just haven't really been using it since I've started this journal. But I think I either want to start writing in it at night right before I go to bed, or maybe use it for morning pages, because I know some people will do morning pages where they just write flow of consciousness, anything that comes to their mind first thing in the morning, and they'll just write a couple pages of that. And a lot of people have said that they found it very helpful to just get all these thoughts out of their head first thing in the morning. So I think I'll try and just do some regular journaling as well, and hopefully, I'll like that as well. But I am still gonna use this journal with the prompts, just because I do like to have questions that make me reflect on either my life or what I want from the future and things like that. So I do still think it's helpful. And then I finally finished a book. It's been so long since I finished a book because I've just been in a bit of a reading slump, and so I've been watching a ton of dramas, a ton of YouTube, and I just haven't been reading as much. So I do want to get back into reading, get back into a habit of not being on my phone right before I go to bed, but reading instead. And the book that I just finished is All the Lovers in the Night. It's a book by a Japanese author, and it was my first book by her. And in the beginning, I felt like I really liked it. It touches on the topic of loneliness a lot, and I felt like the author did a really good job of, through the main character, describing that feeling of loneliness and expressing it. But towards the end of the book, I felt like I was getting a little bit lost, a little bit confused on what was happening, and yeah, just what was going on and the meaning of some things. So I think I still have a couple books by her that I want to get to and read. They're on my TBR list, so I'm still planning on reading those.
This condition that's a problem. I go back to the table, and I'm like, there's no way that